Good evening, Thomas. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So we find ourselves once again on this 11th episode of our,
Mhm.
of our weekly get together. And I'm gonna make this. Oh, not chat. Don't want chat. Good grief. There we go. All right. I'm sorry. I just was hired as the projectionist for the theater.
Great.
Um,
Yes,
uh,
and if you're wondering, we're the first, the last.
the Nerdom. And it was an unusual entrance, I know, and
Yeah.
Thomas will probably let me hear about it later on. But we're kind of covering a new territory for us this week, from a very peculiar, strange, and very delicious movie watching experience for sure.
Yes, and this movie was buried and forgotten for 34 years, and is actually we're pretty lucky to actually view it. It probably would have stayed that way if not for Vinegar Syndrome. The company that found the movie and restored it and made the magic that it is now. Now, before we start, if you're not sure what New York Ninja is, we talked about a little bit on our last episode, but
You
just in
did.
case you haven't seen that, there's a Red Letter Media video that you might want to watch beforehand uh, that will give you the lowdown on the show. Now, of course, you could buy the Blu-ray from um, Vinegar Syndrome, but if you're kind of cash poor, like most of us are, you could watch this best of the worst New York Ninja on Red Letter Media's YouTube page, and they kind of do like a mystery science theater kind of send up of the movie, and it kind of goes over the whole movie so that you can watch it, and we'll probably be using it for various clips and whatnot throughout our discussion of it.
Indeed.
But yeah, it gives you the story of it, and so you'll be more aware of what we're talking about. And those are the Red Letter Media guys right there. They're total nerds like all of us are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So that was a bizarre entrance, and I apologize for that. But I, I believe one of the things that makes Vinegar Syndrome unique to this is that they restore, or don't they do
Yeah.
like that's what
Well,
they're known for, is they're known for like film restoration, that kind of thing.
right. And basically, what they do is they buy or lease rights to produce these limited edition Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray editions of these movies. And for the most part, the movies that they're dealing with are actually completed movies. So all they have to do is to transfer over that hour and a half movie onto Blu-ray or scan it over to 4K to release it in a 4K print, and then gather together various bonus material
Hmm.
for that and commentary. But with this, basically what they had done is they had bought the rights to a bunch of this movie warehouse that had all of from the extra material that I watched on the bonus disc is that they got the rights to 20th century media's back catalog,
Okay.
which there it's not tied to 20th Century Fox. It's like its own little thing, and they had went out of business, and I guess all their titles had kind of flopped around various ways, and they ended up with a bunch of their titles. And when they were going to get the prints for them, there was a pallet with a bunch of film reels on it, and they said, "Well, what's this?" And the guy said, "Oh, we can. You don't have to take those. We could just throw those out." And they said, "Oh, wait, hang on, because Vinegar Syndrome, they're all about restoring and keeping film. So anytime you talk about throwing out film, they're like, no, no, let's take a look at this."
Yeah.
So they,
Thank God they did too.
yeah, absolutely. And it was an unfinished film. All they had was the film. They didn't have the audio,
Mhm.
nothing except the unedited film.
Yeah.
So they first had to cobble together a working print of it throughout all the different takes and whatnot. And from what the Vinegar Syndrome's director, I forget his name, bad on me. Oh, it's Kurtis Spieler. That's his he directed. It
Yeah.
says on the IMDb. That's the guy. He actually put together what he thought was the chronological feel of the movie.
Right.
And once he got that all put together, he realized that it didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Right.
So he actually had to recut it in a way that, because it wasn't completely finished, there were scenes that they hadn't finished. There was various close-ups or whatnot that wasn't finished. So to make it a working print or a working film, he had to do a bunch of cuts, and to really all he could do was read lips and kind of get guess at what the people were saying. So he had to write a new script for it because he didn't have the original script. So he had to make the script and try to make sense of what the material he had, and comes out to about like an hour and a half movie,
Yeah.
and he did a really great job of putting it together.
Yeah, they did. This was like watching this brought back so many memories of childhood growing up in the '80s, of like every other action. Like, I mean, this is probably the apex. You know, I remember American Ninja 1 through 5. I remember Iron Eagle 1 through 5. I'm just making. There was a lot of them. I probably saw every
Right.
single one of them. But
Yeah.
then there were also other ones that are that
Mhm.
it's an action
Mhm.
movie. It's I don't think it was meant to be a comedy, but it has a comedic layer to it
Yeah.
just because of the
Hmm.
era and the time that we live. I think
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And if they had found this in the '90s, I think that this would have been probably not done up as well as it is today, because I think we're funnier nowadays than we were back then. But that's just my personal opinion. But then
Yeah.
this was not like a short point A to point B restoration for them either.
Right.
It wasn't like they just had this thing done in 3 months either. Too, they took
Mhm.
some time.
Right. They had to, yeah, hire voice actors. They had to do the sound effects. The Foley is, I guess, what they say in the biz. But yeah, they had to do all the sounds, and they had to do a soundtrack, which they found
Yeah.
Voyager 3, which at this time there's like a lot of different bands doing the synth 80s kind of sound to them, so it wasn't too hard for them to find a group, but they found Voyager 3. I think they do it with the Voyager with the E as the 3.
I'm just doing a Google. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
there
Yep.
you go.
Voyager 3. Yep.
Yeah,
You're right.
yep. But yeah, the soundtrack is awesome.
It is.
It fits right in with the movie, and
It it really
yeah.
is.
Hmm.
That was like one of the like okay. And I hadn't seen a Blu-ray in years. Like literally. Like I was. This was the first physical disc that I put in a player and like played in. I don't want to say
Hmm.
like, but that's just because it is what it is. But
Yeah.
like the I forgot about the menu, and then it repeats.
Hmm.
Kind of goes back. It shows just like a
Hmm.
clip, and like it's
Hmm.
that it's pretty iconic for this movie anyway. I say iconic for it because it's basically him standing underneath the bridge or in the landscape in the background. I don't know, George Washington Bridge. Probably not. I have no idea, but he's like doing his kicks and stuff and bouncing around, and it sets the pace. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah, and some I didn't know the actor that starred in it, John Liu.
Yeah.
He originally starred in it, directed it, and wrote it, and he's actually, and this originally was filmed in 1984, and at the time he
Right.
was actually one of the big Hong Kung action kung fu action heroes, along with Jackie Chan
Yep.
and Jet Li and all of those
Yeah,
guys.
Chuck Norris, all
And,
those guys rolling.
mhm,
They all
yeah.
rolled around in the same circles at one
Hmm.
point in time. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's an accomplished guy. Yep.
hmm yeah, and so he saw Jackie Chan breaking through to the American audience, and he thought, well, I could do that too. And so he did actually release a couple of movies for American audiences. One was filmed in Paris, and I think the other one was in Vietnam. And then this one was going to be his New York debut. There's the one. Let's see. They start in with something about CIA or something like that. I don't see it on the list there. Maybe it's Welcome, Mr. President. Maybe that's. Another thing is they would rename all of these as well. So with various Ninja in the Claws of the CIA.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Cool.
if
Cool.
you
Yeah.
go back, that that one's it. Yeah. Uh, down to uh, that one's that's the same one. So yeah, they like I said, depending on which American distributor released it, it would be named a different thing. So he made a couple of uh, English language movies beforehand. Of course, they didn't go anywhere, but and
Right.
then this one was going to be a big one in New York. And once I think the owners changed to 20th century, once the film was made, so it got buried. After a lot of times when the head people get changed in a film company, a lot of the old projects get shelved or pushed aside so that the new guy who has all the answers comes to and pushes through all of his stuff. So this movie got buried. And a funny thing in that the extra stuff, it said that at one point the film ended up at Trauma Films, which for Toxic Avenger and those
Oh,
various movies,
right.
and so they had a chance of recutting it and putting it out, and they couldn't make sense of it themselves. So they didn't. They kind of said, we can't do anything with it. So it
Yeah.
wasn't until to now that they were able to.
Yeah. And this isn't like some amazing smash hit, Jean-Claude Van Damme, romp in the park kind of, action flick. It's got elements of sci-fi with we're not going to give away spoilers, but there's enough enough of parallel universe thing
Yeah,
going on, like where
right.
it makes it just enough, not just dystopian or like or on the road to dystopian,
Hmm.
because apparently New York
Yeah.
is so bad.
Hmm.
All you have to do is like do a ninja kick, and New York is terrorized. Like
Yeah.
that is like the police force. They can't do anything. Can't do
Another
anything.
great another great thing about the movie is New York in 1984. That was a character in and of itself.
It
It's
was like
looking at New York. Yeah.
yeah, for obviously the big one, the Twin Towers and all that.
Hmm.
All like the
Yeah.
stuff that would be more iconic for our current time.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Just to give a basic story. Basically, what happens, and this all happens in the first 5 minutes, so it's not
first
much
few
of a
scenes
spoiler,
right
right?
off the bat.
Yeah, the New York Ninja, John Liu, I forget his character's name, but he meets with his wife at the beginning of the movie. We find out she's pregnant and that they're going to meet up later. She ends up stumbling upon a ring of kidnappers who are putting women into slavery. She stumbles upon it. They end up killing her and the baby and leaving
Right,
her in a New York subway station dead.
right,
And John Leo, he's works for a news organization as their audio guy, and
right.
he
Yeah.
decides to exact revenge for her. He becomes the New York Ninja
Yep.
and fights crime. So it
And
almost has like a superhero feel to it.
it does. That's true. It has many layers that are very familiar, and that's about it for the plot. That's about it for the plot. That's what you see is what you get. You know, it's 92 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's that. I did think that the well, obviously the voice acting like saved this entire thing. And they did the music. Aside from the cheesiness and the kitschiness of the you know, so good it's or so bad it's good kind of vibe going on with it. The voice acting and the music, phenomenal. Those are, I would agree. I would actually say those are in a character of in and of themselves. Especially the music for sure. Like it has that. It just, I think it hit me more of like more of a 70s vibe than an 80s vibe to me personally, but that's just probably because of my perspective, you know, from that.
And it was kind of on that cusp of,
it was
of movies, And if you want to play the trailer, we can kind of watch that as well. I don't think we'll get claimed like we did last week.
Oh, if we do, we'll just. It is what it is.
But yeah, it starts with the Twin Towers to start with.
And I don't think I did the sound, so people probably won't hear this, but they'll hear us talking over it.
Yeah, and the overacting is quite good. And this is a great movie. If you have like a group of people coming over, throw it on, and it'll be a great movie for laughs and enjoyment.
Or if your kiddos are old enough, you know, depending upon what you know as a parent, what you're okay with. And when I definitely see screen it first before you make a decision. But
absolutely.
I mean, it's just no kid is going to take any of this seriously, especially with movies nowadays. You know, like there's just like weird things like that one dude with the braid and
rat tail. He reminded me of Elijah Wood so much. He looked exactly like him.
It's just like, I mean, there is no exposition. It's kind of like the opposite of what we were talking about last week with like where movies have good staging and the scene and this and that, and it's just like, nope, this has none of that. Nope, it's just boom, right to the action.
The main villain in it has sort of a kind of supernatural or scientific sort of origins to him. We won't go much into that, but yeah, he was definitely an interesting guy.
He is how can I say this? He's radioactive.
Definitely.
I'll leave it at that. This brought me like I knew this. I couldn't wait to see this, and I purposely did not watch it until this past week because I knew that when I get sucked in, I was gonna. I wanted to keep it as close to the vest as possible without talking about it or whatever. Like I kind of slip a little bit. Like this is exactly what you're talking about. This is exactly what you would get or watch with a group of friends. You know, like maybe a random weekend or something, and like you just have a little mini house party. Well, house party when you're old means sitting around having a drink or two and you know catching up on this or that. But maybe a little bit of snacks. But like this is, I can't wait to see this with my brother-in-law and see what. I told him, hey, I'll run this over to you as soon as I'm done because it's just. You have to see it. It's almost
absolutely.
Like, it's like this is like for video games. It'd be like a few years ago. Well, it's more indie games where they would go back to the 8-bit kind of top-down or platformer type video game that we played when we were younger as kids, and like Hotline Miami is one that comes to mind. But they're kind of like retro-y. And they really dig that. They really get that. There's that other one.
You might want to cut it. Cut it there, so that we don't get claimed for that.
What's that? Well, I wasn't even paying attention to that one in the back half. But it's all fair use anyway. What we're doing. This is original.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just kind of joking around, but yeah, go ahead.
But this is like this has been revisited. You're gonna trick me. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna. Of course, I'm gonna rate it. Go watch it. But anyway, my point was there was one Miami something. I think Vinegar Syndrome had a hand in it too. I can't remember, but I don't know. Anyway, but it has that just everything, the artwork, the
Miami Heat, you're probably
Miami
thinking.
Heat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was the one with the similar
Yeah,
thing.
there's a search up in the upper right hand corner if you want to search for it. Up,
Yep,
up.
you're right.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. If you're kind of on the fence on this and you watch the trailer and you think it might be good, uh, it's definitely worth your while. It's definitely a pickup. I think you can get it a little bit cheaper on Amazon. Of course, buying it directly from Vinegar Syndrome helps those guys out a little bit more. So if you have the extra cash and don't mind spending it, definitely go there. But I think it's a little bit cheaper on Amazon, and I think probably eventually a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff ends up on Amazon Prime. I think I know a lot of the other boutique horror indie uh, film guys end up on there. So, but yeah, either way, definitely see if you can track it down. It's definitely worth a watch. But yeah, the like you were saying, the soundtrack's just perfection.
I want to buy the soundtrack and just listen to it in the background. It's just got enough funk, enough kind of soul to it to like warrant listening to it on its own. Besides, it's just
Yeah,
being made for what it was made for. But they did a great job. Like I was
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. There's a lot of different synth bands that are producing music that are perfectly made for movie soundtracks that don't exist. So
Right.
there's one of my favorites. I don't know if you've heard of them, is Carpenter Brute. I guess they probably take their name from John Carpenter, but uh, Carpenter Brute, Brut. But yeah, they have the synth game down pretty good too. And actually John Carpenter himself with his son and I think one or two other guys are doing albums uh, of their music as well, of their own music.
Okay, that's cool.
Um, yeah, but yeah, there's a whole different scene based around kind of synth music. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was this. It was such a big thing, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I did get. I see Elden Ring on there. I did get that, and I did play a little bit. But I am not a gamer, so we're not going to be doing any kind of review of how bad Mike Shaw's skills are when it comes to the game. Yeah, that one we had. This is a pretty down week for us personally. I think just kind of focusing on this one and bringing it up.
Hmm. Yeah,
But I'd
yeah.
strongly
There's
recommend this for for families when your kids are a little bit older.
mhm,
Maybe they're age appropriate. I
mhm.
would put that in there, but
Yeah, yeah, and
this is
if
like
it's and also for your group of friends that are older, that get a bunch of drinks and some popcorn and
yep,
some pizza and watch it. There's a lot of, and the way the director said that he tried to cut it to where the action scenes were actually good. There was enough footage, and again, this is all unedited film stock footage.
right,
So there was all the mistakes and whatnot in there. So if he really wanted to make a kind of a laugh riot out of the action, he could have. But he wanted to true to the movie. He wanted to release it. It was being released in 1984. He wanted to
right,
do a true rendition of it, and so he made sure that he cut the film to where the at least the fight scenes looked as best as they could. Although he did throw in a little, some little funny things every once in a while. There's a scene where the New York Ninja is chasing some bad guys in roller skates, and that's one of the more hilarious scenes of the whole thing. And these tourists to New York are filming him doing that, and there's a scene where he does a double flip over a car. I think it's a
I saw that.
taxi, and he lands on his feet, and
Yep,
instead of skates he lands on his actual feet.
and
There's
then
no He's not wearing any skates, and then the next scene he's on the skates again. So he left that in
right.
that just because it was so fun to see.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. This This is like it's hard to describe how movies felt like growing up. But it immediately, like, there's like a bunch of it. There's echoes of a bunch of movies when I was a kid growing up, even in 90s films. Like there's the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. There's a lot of the New Yorkness. Obviously that's a whole different level of production and all that stuff, but still, like, it's just like, you guys understand, like, this is like, this was like just trying to tell my kids, like, this is the kind of dumb movie that, like, I would watch all the time when I was your age. Like, this is my sugary cereal for my entertainment for a long time.
And they were, and these movies were kind of dime a dozen as far as late night viewing. They would throw these on, and you would stay up late on Saturday when you were young enough not to be able to run around with your friends, and you were, young enough to where you could stay up late, but you weren't, old enough to do it with your friends. You could, stay in and stay up late on a Saturday night and watch these movies on cable.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, they had, like I said, like it reminded me of like every American Ninja movie I watched, or Iron Eagle, that kind of thing. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but there's a few Van Damme movies there that this echoes too. Like, it's just like Lionheart a little bit.
No, they try to get, as far as people to interview, they try to reach out to various people that were involved with the movie, and most of them did not want to be involved in this production, so which is kind of odd. But they were able to get, like, when the head guy for the special effects, and the lady that acted for the reporter, I forget the reporter's name, she was able to get in it. She volunteered to be interviewed on it, and Randy Rydell is the name of the character, but is voiced by Linnea Quigley. That's the voice actor. She, the lady that actually originally acted for the role, said that Linnea did such a good job, she almost thought that was her talking. But if you noticed in the movie, she was wearing a really bad blonde wig, and you're wondering, I was wondering at the time, why is she wearing such a bad blonde wig? And she talked about it in the interview. She said that they forced her to wear the wig for the overseas audience. They said that they wanted blonde women, so she had a really nice, naturally brown hair or brunette hair, and she would probably look better that way. But yeah, they made her wear that wig.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even bother with the tropes. They were all over it was damsel in distress every 5 seconds. It was like that. It was just, absurd in how it was depicted. But that's the beauty of it. Like, I mean, I couldn't help the first few scenes, like, where it's just setting up the whole story. I was on the floor laughing. I mean, I couldn't, like,
and actually and when they were actually putting together the film, they said that when they were restoring it, when they would restore a scene, they were like, they'd bring everybody in the office. Oh man, you gotta see this. You gotta see what we got here. So they knew it was gold, even without sound, without anything, just the visuals.
Oh yeah, and it's well done as it could be, but it's still, it also has those bad martial art movies, like, where it's really the overdubbing is really bad. That, not for this one, but it reminds you of, like,
right,
like, where they don't quite clip it in the right spot, and then the character the lips keep moving, but then what they said is not quite.
And they said that since they were doing a kind of a martial arts movie, that it made sense that it would be dubbed and that it wouldn't be perfectly dubbed, and so they kind of embraced that when they made the movie.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Which at times you could tell that they were able to read the lips and were able to do some of the dialogue as it was said in the movie. But there's, of course, scenes where they're not actually they're not shown. They're showing their backs to them, so you had no idea what they're actually saying. So again, he had the director had to come up with the whole script on his own. Now he did say that in the extras that they did find an actual script for the movie later on, but that wasn't much of a help either because the script didn't go along with anything that was filmed either. So
Right.
it wouldn't have been a help if they had the script to begin with.
No. The way that it was made and the way that they approached it was perfect. You could not have had the same product that they did without their creativity and them filling in the blank spots and making it all work. Nobody could have. There's no way. Like if they had it in a script or something like, and I wonder, it makes me want to go see more of John Lewis movies and some of these voice actors too. Like I like some of them look, not everything, but some are like, oh wow, and then you kind of dig in and it's like, wow, these people are really good.
Yeah, and that John Liu, they did actually track him down. They knew of a friend or acquaintance of his, and he's evidently in Vietnam living on a boat. Don't quote me on that. I might have misremembered where he's actually at, but he is living on a boat somewhere remotely, and he only gets like contact with the actual world every month or so. But they were able to get someone out to talk to him and ask him if he was interested in being involved in it, and he said no, and he basically said good luck with it. So
Nice.
So I gave them their blessings in a way. But yeah, they did actually find him and reach out to him. So
yeah, like you said, that I guess it just sounds like some of them just didn't want to be part of the, they
right.
probably like, well, I didn't get paid for that one, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, yeah, you never know, but yeah, and if you look at the other two movies that John Liu did in English, they're all written, directed, and starred by him. So they said that he kind of had a kind of a grip on his vision. He had a very much a control over what was done. So they said he wasn't the best person to deal with on set. So maybe that might be tied to a little bit of it.
Yeah, there were. He definitely has phenomenal skills. This is also like this also kind of pings the meter for like wanting to watch an old kung fu movie, that kind of thing. I mean, there's just so many things that this thing bumps into, even if it's inadvertently.
Right. Yeah.
But it just makes you want to like. It will remind you in your own way, in your own experiences. It will remind you of things from that time and that era for sure. Like in a,
yeah, it's one of those rare movies that just kind of hit the sweet spot. There's like every other scene is something that's a gem to begin with. Like there's scenes like when he screams in anguish over his dead wife. That that scene's just totally amazing.
There were I played a little bit of it for my kiddos, like just to kind of see if they wanted to, and
check it out.
Yeah, my son, he laughed. He understood the thing of it, and my other kiddo, like they were a lot more reserved about it, but then at the end of it, they're like, oh, it's because it's so bad, it's good. I was like, that's what you meant when you said that, Dad. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna let you get there on your own. But yeah, absolutely. But we might have a follow up. We might have a follow. But I was laughing, and my son kept coming out when I was watching it. He's like, "What is it?" And he kind of sat down for a little bit. All right, I guess you can sit down and watch this for a little bit. But then you got to skedaddle.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a recommend from both of us, I'm sure.
What would you say, because there's no rating on it, like as far as like for kiddos, like what would you say? I guess what rating would you give it if you were to be the kingmaker for the day for ratings for this thing?
PG-13, if that's even used anymore.
I'd agree with that. There's like a couple scenes, but they don't get
right.
It's just it's so over the top. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's if you pre-watch it, there's one scene that you might want to skip over. But yeah.
It was toward the middle of it, and there was a very very deep shot of skin. Nothing was showing or anything. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Other than that, then yeah. If
Yeah,
the kids are older, then it's
there's no nudity in it. There's no there's nothing like that. It's just
yeah.
absurd
Yeah, there is.
violence.
The New York Ninja at one point takes on a young Padawan, so to speak, a young street thief under his wing, and there's a weird scene where they both get shot, and New York Ninja's nursing both of them back to health, where they're both shirtless and sweaty, which is a little weird.
Well, apparently in New York, the only thing you need to pick up a kid. Well, I kind of made that comment to my kiddos too. Like that was about like where we cut off, and then they went on their own little way, and their span was filled. But I was like, apparently, I joked with. I was like, apparently, in New York, if you wanted a kid, all you had to do was just pick up a street urchin and street orphan, and then boom, they were your kid.
Yeah,
or if they get shot,
exactly.
then you become their legal guardian.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There'd be no shortage of tattletales and whatnot on the online world. What do you mean? Yeah, you don't get it. Yeah, it was good. So we're about 30-minute mark for talking about this, and a big recommend. And I agree with Thomas. Like it was cheaper on Amazon. I think a little cheaper, but it's been out for 6 months or so. Like I think they released it November or October of last year. Officially.
Yeah, and if you want to look through the audience, if they want to look through Vinegar Syndrome, they have some interesting titles. They have various different movies. They run from horror movies to martial arts movies to action movies to softcore movies. So careful if you're looking at the site around some kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say I started to look through the thing and I was like, okay, we're fine. We're kind of we're trying to maintain a minimum thing here. Not that we're either one of us are prudes, but like we just want to focus on content, not the
and they do like Black Friday sales, and they do various sales. I think one of their Black Friday sales, I picked up a couple of their titles, so I was aware of them previously, and they always put out some pretty decent Blu-rays. And I know Mike was talking about how he hadn't put in a Blu-ray in forever. I'm sure like a physical media file, so that's not me. I've always got a huge collection of different various movies.
I wish I could. About the only thing I physically collect anymore are some old 45s, and I'll order a couple things on vinyl. That's about it. But that's about the limit. And the thing. Otherwise, it's hard drives.
Yeah.
Ones and zeros, and download it and then watch it and put it on the Plex server and then enjoy it later on at some point. Yeah, they did a really good job, and I mean that our main thrust was this one and covering it, and you can't go wrong with it. This is a total Friday night. Hang out with your buds, hang out with your friends, hang out with your girlfriends, whatever. Hang out with your people, your folks, and then order a pizza and grab a couple beers or whatever or soda pop. That's two. We weren't drinking beer back then. If we were watching one of these, we would have been drinking a Pepsi or a Coke, and maybe if we were lucky, maybe a pizza delivered from Pizza Hut or something.
With a big tub of popcorn. Made on the oven with the popper.
I had my dad would have made he was excited when we found at a yard sale or garage sale. It was has the stir in it, and then has the two lids that pop up on each side, so you can kind of get it anyway. But I have a lot of fond memories of that, making him, because he knew how to make popcorn on the stove. That's how you made it.
And I think as a joke at the very end of the movie, they said, "Stay tuned for New York Ninja LA," or LA Ninja, which I'm sure they don't have any footage of that. So
right.
Unfortunately, we won't be getting that. But it was a nice little little joke there at the end.
Yeah, this is just
Uh,
I'm just gonna scrub through this a little bit while we're talking, but
oh, that guy. There's I think they show a scene of him. Did you see how he was wearing his baseball cap with the bill like tucked in?
I did not. Oh,
Um,
like one of the Red Letter Media guys.
no. Well, like he's wearing a baseball cap, but like
Right.
the detective in the movie, he had a baseball cap where he had it in like the front part was crumpled to where it was like folded in.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not sure. I don't recall that particular in the movie, just being honest. But
uh
I noticed that they walk down. Seriously, some of the villains that from their costume department. It was like, okay, guys, here's $10. Go in that Walgreens and go buy your stuff, and then you'll understand what that means if you watch it. But for sure,
Yeah, and they had only a limited number of bad guys, and so that they were dressing him in the various crazy wardrobe
right,
throughout the movie. So
right,
it almost had a like a Warriors kind of theme to it. I don't know if
right.
you remember that '70s movie where they were dressed up in various gears.
Oh yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. Or they raided they made a robbery at a local school gymnasium and got whatever sports gear they could, that kind of thing. All right,
Yeah.
we're a PG type. We're not gonna be watching.
Yeah, if you skip ahead, you might be able to find the hat thing. But yeah, the this whole movie has various classic scenes, and the bad guy is the plutonium killer.
Yep.
They don't really explain what's going on with him, but
Nope. They don't say nothing.
he gets plutonium and he gets like energy or something from it. But yeah, and
And
he
he
has
hates candles.
various powers.
He also he absolutely hates candles,
Yeah,
or at least one
yeah,
candle anyway.
yeah. He doesn't care for him.
No, he doesn't.
But yeah, there there he is.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't like one of those things like where I hesitate to say this, but I think it's true. A movie like this doesn't really have spoilers. I mean, because you can kind of see the it's telegraphing the storyline way ahead of time. I mean, like from the get-go, like
Yeah.
the first 30 seconds of the movie, excuse me, the first 3 minutes of the movie, you have your plot. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, and I watched Red Letter Media's video on it beforehand, which they pretty much cover the whole movie,
Okay.
and I uh, I wasn't really spoiled when I watched it. I enjoyed it just as much
Yeah,
seeing it.
I went a little bit more naked than you did. I didn't watch this or that. I just put it on and then occasionally pausing it to go do this or that or tend to household things or 15 minutes when the kids came in and watched it for a little bit. They're like, "Oh, cool, Dad, cool."
Yeah. So we're watching that now.
Yeah, I think my son would definitely. I think it's definitely a warrants a rewatch with him, me and him.
Yeah.
And definitely with my other kiddo too. But different age groups, different kiddos are going to respond to it differently. But nobody got nightmares from it. So my
Yeah.
kids are 12 and 10. So you use your best judgment for that. But this is a great way to introduce kind of those dorky 80s movies that you want to.
Yeah. And if you do get the Blu-ray, the Blu-ray does come with a commentary from the redirector, the guy that directed it for Vinegar Syndrome. He does a commentary track for it. There the extras are also he does do there is a little documentary on the making of it. There's a little video with the interview with the redirector, and also an interview with the band Voyager 3 in their soundtrack. There's also another video of this guy going around showing out the various locations, then and now in New York where they filmed, to kind of get an idea of what things look like then and now. Um,
not really doing
And
a good job.
there's also deleted scenes. There's about a little over 30 minutes of those. Those are fun to watch if you get a chance to watch those. And then there's no they didn't get around to doing a voiceover for those, so they is just the director talking over the deleted scenes, and then there's like a outtake reel for it.
Yeah, maybe you want to make sure to pre-watch before you have kiddos. Again, I only
Yeah, yeah. I think they just kind of showed the
yeah, I
scene that.
just saw that and I was like, you know what? Just be careful. Like my kiddos didn't see that, but they saw about 15 minutes of it. That's about all they wanted to see, and then we kind of moved on. And then they moved on, and then I finished watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I forgot about that. But you know, it's suggestive in some ways, but
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's. I mean, you have one commercial from today's TV commercials, and it's going to be like 10 times more risque than that. I mean, for crying out loud. I'm not going to get into details or specifics over any other kind of media, but I think we all know what we're talking about here. Like where there's a constant drumbeat to moving time forward and all that good stuff. But yeah, anyway, this is a nice break in our pacing. Next week we're gonna be doing something extra special, which I'm really excited for, and I know Thomas is too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
his bag, so that's his to go to. But anyway, kind of going into this, like, so I think we'll end it here as we've kind of stretched out maybe a little bit longer than we should have, but this is definitely a rewatch or a recommendation for me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so moving on from that, from one internet treasure, because that whole thing is an internet treasure for sure. Like there's no way that could have been done in the 90s. I mean, not to the, if it was, it would have only been like a cult thing that like maybe only one region or state would have known about, if anything.
And it would have been played more for laughs than this. This is more of a true to life. You know, they were trying to make a good movie. So
absolutely. Yeah. With that being said, I will we'll move over to a recommendation. Speaking of films, did you want to do this one or did you want to wait for this one?
Yeah, Joel Haber. He's kind of blown up on the internet lately. He does a short films, and on his channel that he includes his short films. He's done a few different movies, and what I kind of latched on was his animated stuff. There's a computer program that allows you to animate, and he's done a few of these. And it's what's made him kind of blow up. Like the latest one, he did one on Elden Ring, and if he also did a collaboration with one of the creators of Rick and Morty. If you scroll down a little bit, we could maybe.
It's so funny. I'm just calling that out real quick. I saw that. I watched that today. I watched that.
Oh yeah.
Break. Like I had no idea you were gonna. Anyway, that's cool.
You do this one. Yeah. But yeah, that star that sand planet one. Yeah, if you want to click on that one. But yeah, start watching his animated stuff, and again, it's not real fluid. It's kind of got some glitches in the animation, but that's part of the charm of this. It just kind of adds to it. And but yeah, it's awesome. Watch some of his animated stuff if you like that. Dip into his short films. I watched a few of his short films. Those are really fun as well. I haven't actually watched one of his films yet on this channel. And those are like films, so they're an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So they're a little more of a time investment. But I definitely want to check one of those out some of these days. But yeah, it's he's kind of blown up. He's got millions of subscribers now, and I'm really happy for him. He seems, I've seen different interviews with him, and he seems like one of the most down to earth guys, and very unassuming type of guy. So it's happening to a really great guy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is to me. Yeah, he's, from what I saw, it was funny. The Elden Rings one. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna say it like I'm gonna say Elder Scrolls a million times. Sorry, that part of my brain was already taken up.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
this is good. All this, that's great. You never know what you're gonna do when you get on YouTube, but
Yeah.
some of these are. I'm reading the titles. The Moist Machine. I don't even. I know that's gonna be funny, but anyway, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not come. I came too late again this week. I just really wanted to focus on the movie and what we were
Mhm.
getting into that. But like along these lines, like there's a million games out there that are indie games that kind of recapture that. I'm going to lean heavier into that than media because I really don't.
Mhm.
I think that Miami. What was that Miami game? Like I think that was the one that or not game, but movie. What was it? You said the title
Miami
was.
Heat, I think it was. Miami Heat.
I can't spell. Yeah, that's okay. Nobody cares. Eat vinegar. I tried looking for it on the Dead Heat. Is that what it is?
Let's see.
I feel like it was. I feel like it had Miami or Florida or something
My
like that
do
in the
do
title.
Yeah, do Miami Vinegar Syndrome. Maybe it is in Heat. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
Miami Connection. Miami Connection.
Miami Connection. There you go. Yeah.
That's what it was. Of course, I can't spell for Nikes. All right, we'll just pull up. Hopefully, this doesn't have any naughty. I just want to see the picture. No, I have not seen that. No, there was a.
Okay.
There was the. Gosh, this is several years. They're probably about 5 or 6 years ago. There was like a. It was a very 80s-esque dumb film that was, I think, wasn't found or restored like that, but it was. Oh man, it was just. I don't know. Like this is the problem. Like anyway, it was like it had a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, kind of like Miami Vice type style. But I can't think of the name of the dang thing. It wasn't like that great or anything like that. It was pretty good, but it was
Right.
still it was in the same
Yeah,
vein
it's kind of yeah. When you watch something back in the day and you and you try to track it down in a later day, it can be kind of a challenge trying to remember the name of it,
yeah.
what it was about, and
You're too kind. You're
yeah.
too kind, Thomas. You're too kind.
Oh, that's I've had that struggle. But yeah, there was a Vinegar Syndrome movie that I picked up a while back. That was I watched it. I don't even if you're familiar with it, but back in the day there was a thing on USA Network at night on Saturday and or Friday and Saturday called Night Flights, and they would show various movies. And there was one that I absolutely loved that Vinegar Syndrome did a special edition for. And it was I forget the full title, but it was ended with Slime Bowl-O-Rama. But I picked that one up. I don't know if that one's still available, but that one was one of those real cheesy '80s movies. You found it?
This is it.
Kung Fury.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Kung Fury. Something dumb.
Cameo appearance with David Hasselhoff, looks like.
Yeah. They had anyway, sorry. Well, I lost my train of thought too. I was going to ask you. This is a little bit of a nudge from our chosen genres that our show covers, but I think it fits in with nerd culture. What was your favorite martial arts or action movie that wasn't like a main one? Like what was like one that you loved watching growing up as a kid?
I wasn't too much into martial art films, but
or even action, like opening it wide open, then not just sci-fi or martial arts or whatever.
Actually, one of them I really enjoyed was Hard Target with Claude Van Damme.
Nice.
Claude Van Damme.
I haven't. I will mirror you because I was just thinking about Lionheart, the Van Damme movie. Of course, that was in the 90s, not the 80s. But
yeah.
pretty sure
But yeah, Actually, the my favorite would be The Killer by John Woo.
Oh man, look at 1990, right on the line, right on the line.
Mhm,
What was
mhm.
it called? Sorry.
John Woo's The Killer.
Like I don't even have to type it. Oh.
Uh, 89. So yeah. But yeah, that one was John Woo is the perfect action director. Um, Chow Yun Fat, Danny Lee. I mean, can't get better than that.
No,
To
no,
me,
you're right.
anyway.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Like this is just a short little thing, like, and it kind of sort of fits, but
Mhm.
like we're already
Yeah.
in Nostalgiaville. Might as well. Might as well
Yeah,
stick to football
right.
or
And
stick to
we,
baseball.
yeah, if there's interest, we could do like a martial arts uh show as well,
They're
where
they're
we go
act,
over
they're actually
action.
they're be careful because there are plenty of sci-fi ish with martial arts to boot.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a shoot, there's a lot of sci-fi action film
Mhm.
crossover for sure. Like one, I can't remember, horrible one.
Mhm.
Growing up as like the Universal Soldier or whatever, like the
Yeah, yeah. No, there's a movie I have to get you to watch called Dead Alive, or Dead or Alive by Takashi Miike. That one. That one's sort of a cop bad guy movie that takes it to the ultimate ending.
nice, nice, nice. Well, this kind of goes into it's not just far from our field here that we like to walk in. But with that being
Yeah.
said, we're coming up on it. We got about 5 to 7 minutes left or so, 5 to 8 minutes left maybe. But and not like we're pressed for time, but what do you have any things you're reading? And this isn't like the official like recommendation, but just kind of things
Mhm.
you're still working on or reading, or what are your new goals for your 100 episode ones? I know you mentioned before for the new year, but
Issue. Well, I don't know. I haven't really made any headway on that. I did the Comixology had a sell on Conan books, so
uh,
I there's a Savage Avengers is Conan during modern times in a team with Doctor Strange, Wolverine, and a few other people,
okay.
which I'm pretty interested in. I read the first volume of the first few issues, and I kind of liked them. And they had a sale that ended, I think, yesterday. So I'm sorry about talking to you about it late, but
It's okay.
they had a few of the graphic novels really cheap, so I picked those up. So I'll be reading those. There's a couple of TV shows I was going to recommend, unless
Sure.
you had some other
Yeah,
reading.
I don't really have like I'm working on Omnibus Volume 2 for Planets, and I'm also kind of catching up. I got a bunch of backlog of digital ones. I got to finish that Doomsday one. I
Mhm.
got to finish a few other ones that I started that I logged in. I was like, oh yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
mhm.
go ahead.
The first one I'll recommend is Smiling Friends. I'm a few years late on this one, but they have all the episodes up on HBO Max. It's a Adult Swim show.
Okay.
It's just really out there. If you're familiar with Adult Swim things, it's probably you know the speed
Yep.
of what this is going for, but it's kind of out there as well. Um, they're very in touch with internet culture,
Okay.
and they they did at one point try to get that's a callback from last episode. They tried to get Chris Chan to voice one of the characters in one of the episodes, but they weren't able to get that through their
Square that
uh,
circle.
legal
Yeah.
teams. But but yeah, there is a internet personality in one of the episodes. So if you can guess what that is and put it in our comments, you get a special star from me.
That's right.
But yeah. But yeah, it's a 8 episode series. It's been renewed for a second season, which I think they'll be doing and releasing later this year. There's only 8 episodes. They're only like 11 minutes apiece, so you can watch them in the afternoon and have a fun time with it. Again, it's very strange, very funny, and definitely want to
Now,
check that out.
now on the weird barometer of Adult Swim. All right, so on one side you have Rick and Morty, which is probably the most popular thing to ever come out of Adult Swim. I would probably say.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely,
hands down.
absolutely.
Like, more normies have talked to me about Rick and Morty than I've ever ran into that ever watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force at all.
Right, right, right.
So, like, what would you say? It's more. What was the? What's some more? Squidbillies. Like, that's probably in the middle of the road between that. Where would it fall more on the side of Rick and Morty, or would it fall more on the side of Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. If you enjoy that, you'll enjoy this.
Guilty. Yeah, I love that. I watched every single one of those, and then I lost track of it when it got canceled, and then they brought it back, and then I don't know. I didn't watch anything beyond the third season or whatever. Carl.
Just to get you in the mind of their humor at the end of every episode, it's in memory of somebody.
Okay.
Made up or whatever. It could be like a character in the episode. It might be in memory of them.
Yeah, this is more definitely an adult version of or at least use caution. No kiddos need to watch any of these for sure below 18. Like I'd say I would not recommend this until you watch at least one of these, because you never know. I know the most buttoned down people that you would never ever guess that loved Rick and Morty. I mean, really shocked me. Like, I didn't think that you were into something like that. And then
right.
Well, I'd say that's who I learned it from. Like,
yeah,
all the things you just never know.
Yeah. And the other recommendation I have to go swing the other way is it's on Netflix. It's called Vikings Valhalla. It's if you watch the original show, there was an original series on History Channel.
Okay, I remember
there
this.
was it was called Vikings, and it ran 6 seasons. And it kind of followed the life and family of Lothar Rothbrook. I think I messed up his name, but but anyway, it kind of told the early tales of the Vikings. Now, this takes place 100 years later, and it's got a different showrunner to it, but it's got that same feel to the original series Vikings. And there's 8 episodes. I'm about 3 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. If you like that original series Vikings, definitely give it a try. But yeah, if you like the kind of the Viking type atmosphere, that's definitely for you. There's no real magic or anything to it. It's more history based. But don't let that fool you. There's a lot of violence, and again, this is more of a mature audience as well.
But this was based on, or loosely in the same vein as that History Channel one that they had for a couple seasons.
Yeah,
right? That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Like the follow.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. And the guy who oversaw the History Channel version of it is executive producer of this one as well. So he does have a hand in it. Yeah.
All right.
But it takes 100 years later, so there's not any characters that transfer over, obviously.
So would you say that you need to watch the first couple of seasons of that, or you can just pick it up?
Just start this. Yeah, if you want to just pick this one up, yeah, you could do that.
Very cool. Yeah. I was gonna say,
but yeah, if you wanted to watch the first 6 seasons of Vikings, I think those are on Amazon Prime.
Oh geez, it was 6 seasons. Good grief. That's right.
Yeah. I loved all that. Yeah, I loved that show. So it's great that I have more of it.
That's good. Yeah, this is one that I'm gonna have to check out. Like that.
And I think when they filmed it in Norway, they did it as a 24 episode season, and evidently Netflix is breaking it up into 8 episode seasons. So there's at least 3 seasons worth of it to that's already been filmed. So there'll be at least 24 episodes of this. But in the original, in this chunk of it, it's only 8 episodes.
I'm pulling up one. I don't know where you can see this. Of course, that would be helpful, right? But there
Sure,
is
we could track it down here.
No, I'm just looking it over here off to the side, so I don't.
Oh, okay.
Like I have anything to hide here. Good grief.
Yeah. Hey, you got your porn and whatnot all around there. I understand.
This would. So there's 2 of these. They made a latter age one, which is it had a lot more bigger names, and I think Daniel Craig was even in it. I can't remember, but don't watch that. Don't watch that one. Watch this one. This one, the girl with the dragon-shaped tattoo, she did. No, Naomi Rapace did 3. They did all 3 of these, and this version is the best version to watch if you're going to watch it on film. Of course, the books were good too, but it's just kind of like loosey goosey. But it's nerdom to a point. I mean, it's basically like early hacker days and kind of that genre of that of the hacker hero kind of anti-hero, but
Yep.
my God, she does a great job, and this is I recommend this, but this is kind of doesn't really fit our thing, but this is the problem with it. Like this is why I need to come prepared anyway. Awesome, yeah. So with that being said, next week we're gonna have a very special show, and we're probably gonna hold it to the vest. But with that being said, I would really recommend New York Ninja. It's just a fun. It's like one of those guilty pleasure type things. You won't be sorry you watched it, and you really won't be sorry. You don't have to pay attention to every single. This isn't like like every year the Oscar list comes out for all the movies that are nominated, and then I know some folks that like they got to watch every movie on that list. Like this isn't like that. This is a lot more just chill and with your friends and family and enjoy escapism at its finest.
Yeah,
this is what that is.
Falls to that. It's so bad it's good kind of category.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's some moments in it that shine, but you can see what they originally had planned for it. But yeah, for the most part, it's a fun movie, and there's some movies from this time that are fun to watch, but at times the movie kind of bogs down with itself and kind of becomes boring. This movie never becomes boring. There's always something fun going on with it, and something to go, oh my God, what's going on? I was like, what?
Right. No, you're not gonna have any of that. As a matter of fact, it's probably gonna provoke laughter, if anything. Like you're gonna see something and you're gonna be like, what in that? What in the heck? But yeah, for sure. With that, thank you again, Thomas, for another fun evening. And next week we'll be back at it, and we're also thinking about doing maybe we have to wait on some ideas here, but we might do a little bit looser kind of a chat based kind of thing, or not chat based, but like just maybe throwing on an old school game or something and playing it, just see me and Thomas just get destroyed playing an old school game or something like that. But well, we got that in the works, and we have some other fun shows planned too.
I upgraded my my hardware, so hopefully I come through a little bit better today, and and that's in for the future, like for future shows or games or whatever that we want to get up to. But exciting things happening. Just keep tuned, and then go ahead and subscribe and like us, and
please comment.
We'll keep doing it.
What you like, what you didn't like. A lot of this is just our 2 guys take on nerd culture and sci-fi comic book stuff. So with that, we'll see you next week.
See ya.